Hi, historian Chris. Leaving my messages for history because of enforcement and just basically like people time capsuling. I'm very sure that products like YouTube will be around forever. That they're going to keep them for history. That basically all these videos will be seen over time as being like a treasure, right? So, what I do on this channel is I focus on sharing my thoughts and perceptions because that's what famous historians did. Famous historians would report what happened and what they think about it. And yeah, you have the modern news, but as people have pointed out, there's too much of a fight. And so my prescription and remedy is this. I want to share what I see and what I feel, right? And in the hopes it resonates or fills in some blanks. My current perception is this: whatever is truly going on seems to be a mystery to us. There seems to be more to psychedelics than just hallucination. And there also seems to be more to what we're doing than what's on the surface. You know, who the real power is in the world is kind of a mystery. If you were truly benefiting and truly running the world, in my opinion, you would not want to be known publicly because of the way these people are. Because of the way assassins and hungry people come after you. You know, the Queen has to have miles of brutal guards and personal ownership, and everyone always saying, God save the Queen, you know. If you can make all the children say, I pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America. Why do they do that? So that whoever the real power is can yoink you like a little toy when your country asks. School is not about the information they have to share with you, from my perception. School is about immediate dog training. They want people to move immediately when asked. You know, come over here. How many parents, if you say come over here, and the kid doesn't lightning move, they get beaten? Right? All in the name, like all the terror does terror in the name of imaginary future terror. What could go wrong, right? Parents like, I don't ever want to have to watch them walk into traffic. Notice how fucking low they think of their own selves. So I'm going to dog condition him to be an immediately responding puppet. Well, as the person that's usually pretty annoying, that usually feels like shit to go through. And it also makes bad citizens. You don't want the people of the world to be beholden to standard groupings of information. You really don't, because who says what's the information? It's pretty clear with the Bible. The Bible took the biggest swing we've ever seen at saying, God told me. God told me to tell you that. That's what the Bible is. God says. It is. The reason they like it is because it's God says. The problem is that if the early history of humanity goes to before Adam and Eve, it's not God says. And so if it's not God says, it's as good as Spider-Man. Or worse, because it's lying to you. So, yeah, the fact the Bible was a lie, sociologically, historically, and verbally, to say the Bible is a lie in my time is an outright revolutionary act. There are popular people who do it, but there's stiff resistance. And the American psyche is more inclined to let them resist it, or to let them do it, which is helpful. So anyway, yeah, the Bible is clearly just made up hearsay. It's a lot of social control for the good of social control. So the opposite side of it is like one of the reasons I pressed play is I was thinking about the native situation. See, the Native Americans, which there aren't any, they're all Asian colonizers. If in the future they find real Native American DNA, my apologies. I didn't mean to be like a racist D-bag toward your people. But the way they want to make it sound is that they were these peaceful, loving, wise, compassionate, which they weren't. They're horse lords. They were raiders. They raided each other and they raided us. Like for every terrible thing my people did in the settling, because none of my ancestors were here during the settling of America. We weren't here for that, and we weren't here for racism. Just didn't happen with us. We weren't here for that, right? At least I don't think so. Who knows what history will find? But anyway, hope you find my baby photos. I fucking every morning, like my mom, like she was deliberately engineering these like psychologically, emotionally manipulating situations. Like she's a total Pavlovian. She is. Like there was no such thing as pleasure and pain. It was all dog luring. It was all leading. And the things she made me do with my time were deeply offensive and not true to my character. Even on reflection, like my parents keep trying to program us, when you get older, you'll say we were right. Ain't never said that. Never will. Don't agree. So anyway, yeah. The things I said I wanted to do and I liked are really things I'm good at, like acting and doing art, but they forbade those. They would make fun of me and say I wasn't good enough. In my own home, the people who were supposed to have my back did not believe in me at all. Just didn't. And every time my parents made promises to certain things, they would take those promises back. They were not reliable people. My dad used philosophy as leverage. You know, he used the Bible as leverage. He even got me circumcised, I think, as just a form of vicious attack. He said, there's enough here. If my dad, it wouldn't surprise me to learn he was a strangler or like a serial something. I don't know. Twisted guy. I don't love him. He gave me $10 ever for hitting me in the mouth with a baseball. My dad had no money ever. No money. Zero money. All out. Didn't make enough. Wasn't paid enough. Didn't earn enough. Broke, 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 broke. I have never seen or heard how much my dad makes. I don't have a clue. Right? But the moment Halo comes out, all of a sudden there's like 4 TVs, 2 Xboxes, he's drilling a hole in the floor. You know, here's the truth about my dad. He just didn't care about me. He didn't care about me. I was the blonde one. I had like white hair growing up. And I think he literally just didn't feel like he was good enough. Now, maybe I'm not even my dad's son, right? Maybe we've never done a DNA test. But it was clear to me that my dad wanted to play leash command with me. Both my mom and my dad came from that sort of background, and that's given to you by the Bible. The Bible cuts a piece of your dick off and gives you no choice about who you want to be, gives you no choice about what you want to believe, does everything it can to make itself seem like the morally right party, and it's making it all up the whole time. And that was like the parenting. It was literally like, you're not allowed to do anything. You got to figure it out ahead of time. And the answer I always got when I asked any question was first, no. You know what I mean? I always had to do more for them to believe in me. Always. But I never played music until I was an adult. I had a piano at home. Not a single song ever got played on it except for the songs I had to play. The whole growing up in America was like constantly being forced to do shit I didn't want to do. Right? And even school is mandatory mind washing. Get up, sit down, behave. They want you to be obedient to authority. That's it. You know, the Nazis left Germany after World War II and came to America. Duh. All the scientists, all the people who wanted to do long-term experiments on people ditched Germany and came to America, and they were given free license to do so by American authority. For sure, like subliminal freaking mind control, energy beams to affect consciousness, you know, certain chemicals that make people incredibly docile, you know, like people who are just obedient to immediate commands, right? No sense of will on your own, forbidden. That's what it is. It's breaking will. They you know, they talk about with horses that everyone has their own will, and if you break their will, you make it yours. But the problem is that breaking my will was for what? What did you know? What were you trying to do with me? And it just comes down to, it's just literally like a crazy lady with a big old chain around some poor starving creature's neck going, go get him. Get angry. You know, it's as redneck and shitty as it comes. So, yeah. If you have parents that love you And love is a value in the Bible. It might turn out one day that saying you love anything but the person you want to impregnate is a lie. It's like unofficially offensive. You don't love them, not that way. You know, you love me, you want to fuck me, you want to marry me, that sort of thing. That's like, you really love McDonald's? You love it like you love your mom? You know what I mean? It's a little, who knows, right? But, yeah. So that's the other thing is, of this human crowd, what succeeds survives. That's how they are. There's no more belief in righteousness. Righteousness, the book that made up truth-telling and righteousness was lying. Made it up. It had a fake history. It has fake morals. With the times it says it's the word of God is a lie. You know why? If it was the real word of God, it would give useful physical predictions that would turn out true. Such as an infinite energy machine, an idea on how to travel to other planets, a real cosmological model, a history of humanity that turned out true. The history, when we look at the real history of humanity, it looks like the author of the Bible just made it up. He didn't know. And you know how easily that gets started? Grandpa and all the kids around the fire, right? Oh, hey, Grandpa, tell us a story. All right. He heard some things, put it together. Now the kids who heard it, Grandpa says it's true. I wouldn't lie to you. And now everyone believes the world was underwater once, and you got to cut a piece of your kid's dick off. It's pretty serious. It's like a serious time. It is. I grew up in heat. You know what I mean? I grew up in heat. It was constant pressure. By the time I was a kid, I was rebelling. I was never doing any homework ever. I didn't feel like their regimen of forced work compliance. You're working. It's work. They said they know all the things they're telling you and they're not respecting you. It had nothing to do with me taking in information, because I can hear the information and know it like that and keep it. I didn't need those hours of study, but they didn't identify that in me. What they said is you ought to go through the process, because the process is the thing that gets you. It makes you into an obedient, loyal dog. Here's the task. They're going to complete it. You know why? Because they got all A's. They never missed an assignment. They did everything they were asked to do. Yeah, 75% of what we taught them turned out later to not be true. Yeah, there's all sorts of issues with it. You wasted their youth. Their whole youth. You should let the kids get together and match up with who they want to be with, but they have touch prohibition, no touching. When I grew up, they had friendship prohibitions. You weren't allowed to make connections with others. Excuse you? Well, the more I study the Nazis, the more I see them at home. You got a police state that costs more than the GDP of the nation. You have these two big old parasites called the police and the military, on top of a little tiny bit of free market capitalism that's absolutely stifled by needing to freaking register its every action through a paperwork trail. You're not a free country. Ain't nothing free about you whatsoever. You're as dominating as the fucking Nazis. Well, the truth is, who's wearing the suit? It's a fucking man. So who's a man? He's going to make it up and say he knows more than he does. He's going to scapegoat and hate people he can't see because he doesn't identify with them right now. He's going to lie and cheat and steal, and then he's going to deny to himself and everyone else that's what he's doing. Just absolutely hide it. No toss, not real, didn't happen here, never to me, yada, 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 etc. on purpose. Right? People design traps for each other, right? TikTok. TikTok is a fucking trap. It's going to make it look like there's people being paid and they're have these great lives, right? But the creator fund isn't that big. The creator fund is like the freaking fish at the end of the hook. The hook is, there's a few different hooks. One are the hooks psychologically. Here's the thing about fishermen. They don't care about the fish. Not a single fisherman has ever complained once about the life of a fish. He says, good, that's my fish. Gonna hit you over the head and take your body to eat, you know? And so, yeah, half these people, like, all these, like, I'm sure me investing in Bitcoin and Dogecoin, like, to me, it looked like suddenly there was a social movement and people cared and there was a lot of heat. I'm sure afterward it'll be like, no, some advertisers carefully planned their investments so that they'd rake in all the money from the people who bought during the hype, right? That they actually knew they were going to rip off people during the hype. That the hype itself was actually not incidentally cultural, it was planned. And that the hype was designed to get people beyond the original. The original investors know the hype is a myth. They know it's a scam coin. They know you can just open the code and take money out. They know that. They don't want any of that. But they also know that they can trick a lot of people into investing in it. So they go, oh, let's buy some advertisements. Let's promote some posts. All the tech people who are in on it are the tech people who own the websites. And then you just basically have people just graft money out of society using a freaking lure. That's all it is. It's just shiny lure. Make a lure that looks good enough, right? Well, in my age, it's viral. It's, decentralized. What does that mean? you know? I'm not happy with moderation in my age. Moderation in my age is extremely oppressive and dismissive. It's dismissive. You'll have somebody you don't even know, can't even see, look at you and go, you're no good, you need to be punished. That's what it is. You listen to moderators, they're all about punishment. They love it. Oh, cross the line, right? Remember that early growing up? You like semi-cross the line and the moderator will threaten you. You go like, cross it again. And it's literally just a chimp with a fly swatter hitting another chimp. It's just as stupid as it fucking is. So yeah, that's why humanity is the way it is. Everybody wants to eat, nobody wants to work. That's humanity. That's who they are. That's who the immigrants are. That's who the politicians are. That's who the police are. That's who the workers are. That's who the wealthy are. That's who your mom was. That's who your dad is. I want it all, but I don't want to do shit for it. Well, that runs out real quick and becomes famine. So, yeah, maybe in questioning the Bible, see, if you take the Bible, if you go, the Bible is a hoax, what you get under that is the reason for the hoax. And the reason for the hoax, yeah, it can't be more efficient to just wear a lie because you're uncomfortable of where the rest of the world is. Like, I'm leaving Iraq. I really am. If you've never read the Bible, you should, because it creates, it basically, you dig your own grave. Just like all those like serial killers, like watching serial killer documentaries is so important. They lie to you. They said they like you and love you when they don't. They get you to dig your own grave. Like, here's how you know you're with a fucking predator, right? Number one, if you're with anybody, guaranteed they're slightly predatory. They eat. They, you gotta fight the turf. Anyway. And nothing you do is right for them. And they betray you. Like one guy, I think this guy up at Sedona once, he comes up with like this tray of food, right? And it's like this really loose meat. It definitely wasn't pork, right? I think I ate human flesh once, like for real. He said his wife cooked it, and it was just really like loose. It just was like a floppy, light meat. It's not anything like I'd ever tasted. If that was what people is like, I'd imagine it. Anyway, I ate it. But later on that night, like, his wife was admiring how good I looked. Why not? And then he, though, started accusing me of being a liar. And I don't remember what you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing that somebody who's going to manipulate you does, is he puts a hook in you. He says, what issue does this person have trouble recovering from? Well, as a kid, imagine me, right? The thing that hurt the most was when people said I was lying and not doing enough. When all they did was tell me lies and restrict my actions, right? That's how fucking shitty people are. They make absolutely everything you could possibly ever want to do wrong first, and then they'll turn around and look at you and say you need to do something. And no matter what it is, it's wrong. They are just, people will torture you. People will give you a task that's impossible to complete, and then when you struggle to complete it, make it your fault and abuse you for the fact it's not getting done. Like stillness. You got my grandpa. He's like a leash master, right? Pulling you close. You're gonna, that's what the Bible says. The Bible says you're cool if you can lord over others. It was written by a man. It didn't give historically accurate testimony, right? It didn't give historically accurate testimony, so you know a psychopath is running the whole fucking earth. It's an invisible psycho called God. The earth is being run by an invisible psycho presence called God. And it doesn't exist, but it exists in people, in their imaginations. So anyway, you got grandpa going, oh, be still. Why'd you move? He's on a couch laying back. I'm standing up. So what if the earth, maybe I do twitch. Maybe I twitch a little bit. I've had a hell of a life. I'm sorry. But lots of chemical, all this stuff. But he yells at me. He makes my movement it's like a dominating, aggressive, male fucking, you sit here now, right? Why'd you move? And forcing stillness. And here's the great, awful thing about stillness. They thought this world was a plate, and they thought the Bible was true when it says, be still and know that I am God. That's why we love the Emperor's New Clothes and Santa Claus. If you don't figure out after Santa Claus that the Bible wasn't real, they know the Bible's not real. They still genitally mutilate you anyway, because as a man, they don't care. None of the ruling families of earth care about my life. My life is an imposition to them. In the worst case, I could take their women. And they know that. They know that in the worst case, I could accidentally take one of their girls. So I get poisoned, I get genitally mutilated, and then I get told I have to obey these things or I'm going to hell. And that's how you treated me as a baby. That's how you treated me as a youngin', as a kid. Do you think I like the people of this planet? I hope one day you can figure it out. But believe me, I know what fucking time it is. I know what time it is. It's snake o'clock. It's Cannibal Island. It's fucking Eat 30. It's I Winville. It's All About Me Plaza. It's my face is the greatest. I smell the most. Why? Because men are naturally competition for other men. They really are. Men are competition for other men. Really, really good rulers, and I would be this type of ruler, would attract and hold the attention of women, and then he would marry the women off to men for loyalty. He would keep them, But in order to have, anything in life, you need, a stable ground, right? Being grounded is the idea that your thoughts and your reality are co-similar. You feel like the things you think and know about are really physically true and they really physically matter. And when you have thoughts about the things in your life, they naturally react and change to your thoughts, right? Like a team of people who know you really well. Like an established business, that's being grounded. Your ideas and your reality are unified. Being ungrounded is being lied to and manipulated by a cult. I grew up, and still to this day, I psychically, subconsciously think all the stories of the Bible matter and I should puzzle over them for all time. Right? That it was really like this deep mystery revealed by God. The problem is the Bible doesn't have historicity. It says things historically happened that don't look like they did. The story of Adam and Eve, that women came out of a rib and a talking snake made us fall. That, when I grew up, was as good as history. It was as good as history. I got genitally mutilated by a cult and told I was going to hell because this book was a historical document, and my dad was a rocket scientist. My dad made missiles. Okay? So, this place has not figured it out yet. Nowhere close. A bunch of D-bags hurting each other. So, yeah. Here's the thing about men. Men understand deeply, deeply, deeply the threat other men have for their women. As a guy, if I have a girl or a girlfriend, I'm going to tell her that every other man is wicked, crooked, stupid. My dad held all of his best comebacks back. From me, all of my dad's best comebacks he held back until he saw me around a woman I liked, and then he fucking eviscerated me and tried to take her. You know what I mean? It's snake o'clock, people. You know what time it is? It is fucking eat and win. The angular fish with all that, all these freaking social things. It's all Snake World, people. It's fucking Snake World. The only thing on the menu is you, and the only people you can eat are trying to eat you. It's pretty depressing. Like, I don't have kids and I'm proud of that. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to have my tribe, but to have my tribe of women, I have to do something about all the men. I can't keep letting boys walk into my life and steal my girls. So I'm going to have some soldiers and some laws and put it down, because that's what happens. If you don't got a Glock and you don't got your dogs and you don't got your guards, some total motherfucker's gonna come up and steal your girl, and she's gonna go with him because she's a fucking compliant doe. Do you really think that after being raided by the Vikings, all the women were like, oh, you killed my husband, I'm going to mourn forever? No, they were like, look, a real man, finally. Right? They're not, these people aren't that good. They eat babies, These people eat babies. They're not that good. And that's what evolution is. Evolution, did you reproduce? And did your children reproduce? Were your traits dominant, successful, selected? And it's creating a gender dysphoria too, because what's a sexually selective trait for a woman is not a sexually selective trait for a man. So you got people like, you got petite little women, all the men they make will be giants. And all the women they make will be these petite little things. Why do men need petite little things? Because they need to control their body to keep them theirs. They can't let them go off. They have to. It's like it's a dominance game. It is. It's all about, and it's all about like the literal physical side of it. It's about the physical manifestation of it. But yeah, it's been another good lecture today about my thoughts. I wanted to leave for historicity that we are still deeply in religious occultism and religious namby-pamby stupid beliefs. And me, myself, I had my mind corrupted by someone's opinions that he said was God's words. That's really just how annoying it is. Thousands of years, millions upon millions of people, millions upon millions of babies' dicks, this is just Christianity, millions upon millions of wars over beliefs that somebody said, trust me, bro. And it really wasn't a trust me bro situation. He shouldn't have said what he thought was real at all. It just wasn't real. It's not real. No Jesus is coming back. There's no hellfire. There's no, like, all these things. He has to threaten you after you die because he's trying to make you obey laws. And so he has to tell you there's words in the beginning of time, and these words are the words of God. And to get you to believe it, they attack you when you're a baby. And to get you to believe it, they attack your dick. They cut a piece of your dick off. You'll never feel that piece again. Uncircumcised men are fully functioning perfect, right? Circumcised men will only really reproduce. They're never gonna... I've had sex with girls before. It hurts to come in them when you don't have your own dick's cover. You ruined my sex life as a baby for a cult. Fuck my parents and fuck your society. You're never gonna get my loyalty. I don't like you. I think you're the enemy. I think you're wicked. How dare you touch my dick as a baby? You know who told me they shouldn't have done that? Nobody. Nobody ever did that. You know when I realized it? I was 35. I knew it when I was about 5 that I had been really, attacked. I knew it as a kid. I used to want to kill myself. In a way, I wish I had. It would have made... If I knew the life I would have had post... If I knew the life I would have had my whole life, yeah, I would have killed myself. It's getting better now because I'm in my own space and my own power. But... holy shit, guys, you genitally mutilated me and told me I was going to hell unless I believed in Spider-Man. I'm a little annoyed. I'm a little, pissed off, actually. I just feel like you're not reliable. Global warming, fake. Corona, fake. Bitcoin, probably fake. I don't even think the countries are real. I don't even think America's real. I think it's lie o'clock. Start deceiving and deceive all the time. And hide the real means of things, How many hidden families have I never heard about that are really running the world that I won't hear about because they are running the world? And you know what they did to me? They left me no life and no option. They said, he doesn't get a soul. You know, when they take your foreskin, what do they do with it? They probably put it in an occult book and use it for ritual magic to keep you bound. Right? They're not nice. These people aren't good people. They're making it up and they're lying and they're sharks. It's Snake Island, people. It's Cannibal Island. It's all about me o'clock. It's fuck you 30. Bing bong, fuck your life. That's what time it is.